couple of years back, New Zealand movie mogul Peter Jackson, a filmmaker who has the distinction of having never, ever made a bad movie, had a momentary lapse in judgment, whereupon he decided it to be a good idea to waste millions of dollars and several years in the life of young director Neil Blomkamp producing a movie based on Halo, a video game whose primary distinction is being blandly designed and uninterestingly plotted even for a first-person shooter. Well, in a rare case of the universe conspiring toward a greater good, the project fell through, leaving Jackson and Blomkamp with some time, which they've opted to fill by expanding Blomkamp's attention-getting short film Alive in Joburg into a full-blown feature. The result is District 9, the best film of summer 2009. Yeah, you heard me. What we've basically got here is a darker, nastier spin on the Alien Nation hook. A derelict spaceship grinds to a halt above Johannesburg, South Africa, bringing with it a horde of starving alien refugees. 20 years later, said refugees are still stuck on Earth, confined to a walled-off ghetto of the title, where they live in squalid poverty under the control of a multinational private security firm. Interspecies tensions are running high, violence is breaking out, and the corporation in charge is, it seems, up to something fishy. But so are the aliens. The main story unfolds through the eyes of an insufferable prick of a petty bureaucrat who finds himself stuck in the middle and way over his head. And that's all I'm gonna tell you. Go see the movie, be surprised for yourself. It's worth it. Guys, I'm not even dressing this one up. No flowery lingo, no beating around the bush. Go see this movie. Do not wait for DVD. Do not download it off some douchebag pirate torrent. Someone went out of their way to make a movie that's incredibly intelligent, ridiculously action-packed, shockingly violent, and frighteningly relevant. Show them some fucking support. Let me make a little old business detour while I'm here, though. Back when the new Star Trek came out, a minority of critics, including me, had the audacity to point out that compared to what's generally been expected of the Star Trek franchise up to this point, it was poorly written and kinda stupid. Along with the customary raking over the coals, this earned us a metric ton of scorn in the form of lemmings quoting studio PR and Onion videos. Dude, stop being such a Trekkie fanboy. You just want it to be boring stuff about aliens sitting around a table and talking and junk. In other words, it had somehow become completely unreasonable to expect that a science fiction film be both intelligent and exciting, because, so says the writer of Armageddon and Gone Fishin', apparently. Well, you know what my response to that is?
District fucking 9.
Here's a movie with better aliens than Star Trek, better gunfights than G.I. Joe, better giant robots than Transformers, and better effects than Terminator. And it doesn't pussy around either. This is hardcore R-rated ultra-violent shit, especially when those nasty alien superguns come into play. But it's also smart. It's got a brain in its head. It's got a complex story and richly drawn, realistic characters. It's actually about stuff. You can, in fact, do these things at the same time. Action scenes get better when people you care about are in the fight and you understand why they're fighting. People still get this, right? Well, Neil Blomkamp sure as shit gets it. This guy is a find, a major talent with a big imagination and the skill to realize it. He's working a high-wire act here between biting socio-political commentary and hard-nosed action, where scenes of people being flash-liquefied by space-age laser guns often occurs at the same moment as dark observations about cross-cultural interaction, or the lack thereof, and he pulls it off with stunning grace. And to think, we came this close to having him waste all this talent making a fucking Halo movie. It's almost enough to restore my faith in the universe. Almost. Seriously, folks, do not miss out on District 9. You want action? It doesn't come harder. You want story? They don't come much better. This is the sort of movie I've been waiting for all year, and it was worth it.
I mean, obvious caveat on this one is back when the original show was running on a gaming site, being the guy on the site who wasn't in love with and was in fact kind of a heretic about the Halo franchise and that whole genre had sort of become my brand, so I had to get my little digs in a little harder than I might have otherwise. But otherwise, I still pretty much agree. This movie goes hard, and I hope they follow through and make that sequel that they keep talking about. If it's, it's been long enough, if you haven't seen this, you should see this. This movie still kicks a hell of a lot of ass. I know it's become standard to look at Blomkamp's career since as not really ever measuring up to this high watermark. Sure, yeah, but not a lot does. But there's also a lot that I really like in his Elysium and Chappie and his short film projects as producer. Certainly, I'm still rooting for his output. I really wish he did get to make his Alien 5, which I guess, got zapped by Ridley Scott, and they made the Prometheus and Covenant instead, which, I mean, both of those were not good at all, which is unfortunate. If you haven't watched this in a while, like I said, still holds up. Yeah,